Welcome, everybody, back to Orange Hat. We are doing episode 33 of the theme streams. This one is my thoughts on the Harry Potter franchise. So, let me just get this overlay put away. So, yeah, how is everybody doing? I see everybody in the chat. Dante Erics, good to see you. Vanya, good to see you. This is not a Lord of the Rings chat. This is going to be just Harry Potter. And I am going to be touching on the books and whatnot. Good to see you, Geek Detective. So with that, I do also want to give people my schedule. Next week is going to be the Predator franchise. So if you want to stay tuned into that one, definitely tune in for that one. Tonight is the Barroom Podcast. We're going to be talking about some cool stuff on Society Reviews channel. I will be doing Orange Hat Uncensored myself, plus others, if they want to join. We aren't going to be getting as political. Janet will not be going on because she has some things that she has to deal with. So I will be doing it on X and on my channel for Friday night, 10 p.m. Also, I will be, let's see here, Sunday with me and Kate from Nerd with Cigar. We'll be discussing Hollywood topics for the weekly recap. So with that out of the way, folks, let's get into it. So let's check and see the chat, because I do see there's a new comment. What is my favorite one of them all? I will get into that. That will be a part of this stream. So, without further ado, the banner will change to Sorcerer's Stone, as well as brand. I will be starting off with Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or Sorcerer's Stone. It's Philosopher's Stone in England, folks, but they called it Sorcerer's Stone for American audiences. Now, this movie and the second movie really set the tone for these movies, and they honestly did a good job. Let me pull down that. There we go. So, going into Sorcerer's Stone, I'm aware of a lot of the speculation of certain scenes, like the snake that was in the zoo. Was it Nagini? I do not think it was, although I do believe that there was some discussion that I believe even J.K. Rowling got into. It could have been Nagini, but me personally, I do not think it was Nagini. It just so happened to be that Harry was a Parselmouth, although he did not know it at the time. I remember reading the books. I enjoyed the books. My aunt lent me the books when she was collecting them, and I really enjoyed them. I enjoyed all of the books, to be completely honest, but my favorite one, book-wise, as well as movie-wise, is The Goblet of Fire. The Goblet of Fire really went dark. And y'all know me, I like dark movies. Because it really challenges your comfort when you see evil that comes up that is as evil as they get with Voldemort. I do wish that they did like a special edition for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, because with the movies, as long as they went on for the 8 years or 9 years that they went on for, unfortunately, there was little consistency with cast as for Tom Riddle, who was Lord Voldemort as an adult. Also, I wish that they would, or that they could, like, release a version of Sorcerer's Stone in which they actually impose um, Voldemort, or Ralph finds Voldemort onto the Voldemort that is on the back of Quirrell's head. Or if they were able to do that, that would be so freaking great. Hey, Darth Zathra, good to see you. Silly snafu. When I got into Harry Potter, I read Chamber of Secrets first before Sorcerer's Stone as a teen. Whoops. Out of the films in general, I like your favorites were Prisoner of Azkaban. A lot of people say that. And Order of the Phoenix. 2-part for Deathly Hallows was so-so. Deathly Hallows had a lot to cover, so I understand why they needed to do 2 movies for it. Also, it kind of rounded out the number for movies. Instead of having 7 movies, you have 8 movies, which is a nice round number. Also, I'm not proud of the fact that they had to do or introduce characters, because different character or different actor, or the actors playing certain characters, didn't know how to fucking not break the law. And yes, I am also a Potterhead there too, Darth Zathra, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. My personal favorites are 3, 6, 7. Nice. Then 3, 6, and 8 for the movies. Yep. Nice. Number 5 is was always a hard read for me. It's also a hard watch, because seeing actual fascism in play was hard. But we'll get into that when I get to my Order of the Phoenix segment. But as for Sorcerer's Stone, when you first get into this movie, it really is an enjoyment to watch. You're introduced to the characters in a good way. You don't need to know everything about the characters that are there. You do know that it's a magical thing, or it's a magical world, especially when you have a person that's suddenly sucking lights out of everything, and a woman or a cat turning into an older woman in Dame Maggie Smith. The casting was superb for these movies. I gotta say, Richard Harris was a very, very good Dumbledore. Unfortunately, he passed away, in which caused the Michael Gambon recast. Michael Gambon's recast, I will get to when we get to book or movie 3. The movie and the book for Sorcerer's Stone, they differ in many ways. Obviously, you cannot put as much as you would like in these movies, but you got to be able to put what you can in, or what you can inside. You also have, when you're adapting books to film, there are certain liberties you have to take. For instance, when it's detention for the trio in the movie, it's actually not the trio. I do believe Ron Weasley was put in the hospital wing when they had to go into the Forbidden Forest, and so it was Neville Longbottom that got caught out of bed and whatnot, if I'm remembering correctly. So there are differences. One of the problems I also did have with Harry Potter the film is that you could tell blatantly what was even at 4K grade for the first movie, you can tell what was green screen, blue screen setting. You could tell what was a digital background, especially when they go to talk to Hagrid on the grounds. The whole Harry Potter franchise, for one, is a very inconsistent franchise. It was Neville in the books. I started rereading the first one recently. Nice. I hated Dolores. Everybody hates Dolores Umbridge is actually more hated than Voldemort in the Harry Potter franchise, folks. But I will get to that later. Everyone did dislike. side note, for those who like learning about Snape, there's an unofficial exploration of the character by author Laurie Kim. I'll send a pic to you in DM. Okay, cool. Actually, I do like Snape. I think that Snape was one of the best written characters in a series when it does come to fantasy series. J.K. Rowling had the plan for Snape, I do believe, from the beginning. And I think that it was one of the biggest, and done right, mind you, expectations, flipping your expectations or tricking your expectations instead of what they did for, or subverting expectations. That's the word I was looking for. Sorry about that. But yes, for the Sorcerer's Stone, they did a good job with what they had with the kids, with the acting. Now, I do believe, yes, Daniel Radcliffe was already in the acting scene. He had a couple of movies before Harry Potter. However, he did make Harry Potter, or he did make his career off of Harry Potter. His career is very much thank you, or a big thanks to J.K. Rowling. That's my opinion on that, plus Emma Watson, who both have decried J.K. Rowling over recent years. The one actor that I actually think it's actually quite interesting. The one actor who is actually kept their nose out of politics and stuff like, well, there's two actors actually. Rupert Grint, who plays Ron Weasley, he's kept out of politics and shit, which is nice. I do like that. It's like, dude, much respect. I mean, I understand that you don't want to do the acting scene anymore. He's done it a few times here and there. I do also believe he has a food cart business going on. And Tom Fenton, who plays Draco Malfoy. The cast for Draco Malfoy, man, was a great choice. When you have Tom Fenton, who was playing Draco in the first movie, he just plays this very smarmy character and a character you love to hate. Now, Draco also was more complicated as the movies went on, especially in the sixth one, where he starts to go unhinged due to the fact of his family being disgraced, him actually now being a Death Eater because he's got the dark mark and whatnot. But hey, Toodle say, good to see you. When watching The Sorcerer's Stone, I'll admit that when I saw Alan Rickman have moments in getting into the character of Snape, I kept thinking as a teen, there's a reason for him not liking Harry. What is it? Yeah, there is a very big reason for him going after Harry Potter. And for many people, you don't know until the seventh, well, actually the fifth book, where it's revealed his hatred for James Potter. And it's also actually it's book 3, I do believe. But Snape's worst memory is in book 5 when he's trying to teach Harry occlumency. But there is a very big reason for Snape not liking Harry. And I do like the introduction to Snape in the movie. However, I like the extended bit of the scene where Harry fires right back at Snape. It's like, clearly fame is not everything, is it, Mr. Potter? And he's like, clearly Hermione knows. It seems a pity not to ask her. And so that's when Snape grabs the book, he's like, put your hand down, you silly girl. And he explains all of which he was asking Harry Potter about. Now, Harry was obviously just taking notes. He's like, this is what we're planning on and this and that. And unfortunately, Snape kind of went after him. And I believe even if he did know what he was doing, like taking notes, he was basically, he would have went after him no matter what, because he has that hatred but also care for Harry. Now, at this point, nobody knew that Harry or Snape cared for Lily Potter or Lily James. Or Lily Evans, rather. Sorry. All they really knew was he hates Harry. For some weird reason, he fucking hates Harry. You know? Uh that's when you see Snape ruined his relationship with Lily himself before she even began to see James on a favorable light. Yeah, exactly. Uh but in the film, you don't get much of the fact that he doesn't like Harry Potter for some reason. So obviously Harry is more wary of Snape. And there's also the fact that the difference in the book is Harry also touches Squirrel at the beginning, where at the in London, he actually shakes his hand then, and it's like, oh shit, you know, that tells you that Quirrell wasn't possessed until after that moment, if I do remember correctly from the books. Um, Also, Harry and the books diverge a lot because Voldemort can't touch Harry, and therefore Quirrell couldn't touch Harry. In the movie, Harry straight up murders fucking Quill, man. um, it's like, yeah, Quill's dead. Harry should have been able to see Thestrals by year 2, according to the movies. Where in the books, Harry passed out before Quirrell died due to touching Harry. And I love the movies, but some are truly terrible adaptations. Yes, very much. Yes, very much. Everybody loves to praise the third movie. Me, I can't stand the third movie. I mean, I like the introductions and stuff. I like certain bits of it, yes. But the third movie made the series of movies incredibly inconsistent. You had flat grounds for Hogwarts in the first 2 movies. Then all of a sudden, the grounds shifted. And it's like, oh shit. And then you go back years to the Fantastic Beast movies, to the 20s, 30s, or to the 20s, 30s, and 40s. And it's like, shit. Because when they go back to Hogwarts in book 2 or in Fantastic Beasts 2, I'm not going to be going too much into the Fantastic Beasts movies, folks, but I am going to address some of the things. They changed the grounds, or they kept the consistency of the grounds from the later movies of the Harry Potter movies. Unfortunately, those movies take place before book or movies 1 and 2 of the Harry Potter films. So you now have incredible inconsistency. Not to mention Minerva McGonagall teaching at Hogwarts before she's even born. So there's that problem too. I mean, there is so much that is very wrong with the wizarding world as a whole. But getting back to Sorcerer's Stone, I do like how they establish things: wizarding chess, potions, defense against the dark arts, Quidditch. They did a great job with all of that, especially Quidditch. I love the Quidditch scene, where Harry is new seeker, and all of these things, these minute details that come to play later on in the books, are so freaking great. Like Harry getting the golden snitch in book 7 and in movie 7, where when he grasps it for the first time, nothing happens, and you see that Scrimgeour was kind of let down. And it's like, well, shit, you know? I love the movies, but some are true. Yeah. Quirrell died when Voldemort left his weakened body, weakened by burns and possession. Voldemort was like a parasite or a parasite. Yeah. Yep. Although I will say that what they did with the red eyes, I do like them keeping the red eyes. However, they had to do or they couldn't really go red with Ralph Fiennes for some weird reason. It's like, why not? You know, I really am wondering why not, because I think that it would have been better that they actually showed it, you know, or that they actually gave him the red eyes when he came back to life in Goblet of Fire. I did not like Ron riding the knight. Too many first-time watchers are like, just jump off. Yeah, there is that, but the problem is they don't, or first-time watchers don't understand why he couldn't jump off. Once you took that piece, if you removed yourself from that piece, the entire game is forfeited, and basically you'd probably get killed. So yeah. The movie one was great. I saw it in theaters. I absolutely loved it. They had a great cast. I especially loved her as Ollivander, which is funny because folks, I I got a collection here that I will be showing off at the end of the movie, or at the end of the stream. I will bring some of it in or actually I think I will bring some of it in, because in the first movie, you had your standard wands. You had the just dark wands that nobody really paid too much attention to. It wasn't until the third movie that you saw detail in the wands. But the second movie, however, you did have slight detail with some wands, especially when it came to Ronald Weasley's wand, because his wand got broken. So they had to show a little bit of stuff in that wand, or with that one. But yes, I do actually I'll show these two off because these two are the more important ones. I got Harry Potter's wand and I got Voldemort's wand with the Ollivander boxes. Should have kept these up a little bit more. But yeah, you actually get the Ollivander box, and this is Harry's wand. With the whole shebang. Now, yes, there is a little bit of damage here, but I actually managed to fix it as best as I could. But now these things actually stay in the box, so I'm not whipping them around and yada yada, except for a couple of wands, which I actually do like. When I'm doing my little, or when I'm watching these movies, I do sometimes break out a wand and, just have fun. Curious, what house were you sorted into? Mine was Hufflepuff. I'm a Ravenclaw. Geek Detective Pierce. Yeah, I actually went on to Pottermore, got sorted into Ravenclaw because, well, I'm sort of a book nerd, and I'm sort of rather intelligent. And this one is Voldemort's wand. I also have a second Voldemort wand upstairs, but this one, it comes from Noble Collection, as does the other one over there, the Harry Potter wand. All my wands come from Noble Collection, except for one wand, which was or two wands, which are prop Harry Potter wands, which are actually more for cosplay and stuff. These are actual replicas. I mean, yes, this one got a little bit of a snip snap, so there's a little bit of tape. I don't know if you can really see it very well, but there's a little bit of tape here. But yeah, this wand tapers off to a fine point. A little bit of a nub, but this is Voldemort's wand, the U wand that he has. And reasonably pliant, not one to you can actually do all sorts of stuff with it. Just be careful with it. Now, I do like how he holds his wand, how he kind of curls his finger right in the nub, and it gives a nice little extra grip. Or he holds it very much like this. But yes, that is another thing that I actually like about how some people hold their wands in the movies. But let's get this one put back because these are very treasured. I actually like Voldemort's wand a little bit better than Harry's. because, well, Voldemort's wand looks kind of almost like a bone. So let's get that put back. Yep, there it is. And yes, folks, the wands can actually be found on Noble Collection. You can get some of them actually very well. One of the wands that I really, really like, and I'll show it to you later. I actually have three of these wands because got a bunch here. And I'll be showing them off as the movies or as we go on here. But a lot of wands are knockoffs, but I have all the character wands except Ron's broken one. Yeah, you're not going to find Ron's broken one. I don't think they ever really sold it. Another thing that I have is Marvolo Gaunt's ring. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's this or it's this ring or that ring," but actually, no, it's Marvolo Gaunt's ring. The ring itself was also the Resurrection Stone, which is one of the Deathly Hallows, as well as Dumbledore's wand. I have the other wand. Now, Dumbledore's wand in movie 4 was actually more light colored than the Elder Wand that I have here from Noble Collection. I mean, you can get thicker wands, folks. I mean, I absolutely love how different wizards held this wand. I mean, Grindelwald from Fantastic Beasts held the Elder Wand like this, where he kind of held it almost sort of like a gun, really, but he held it like this when he was doing things, but he also kind of liked waving it like a baton, which was nice as well. But Dumbledore always held it around like this, where when he's wielding it, he had a more traditional hold on the wand. But some of these wands, I mean, when you have Voldemort holding the Elder Wand, he holds it sometimes like this, where the fingers kind of pinch it. I mean, he doesn't ever really grasp hold of the wand. He is always trying to hold it like he held his own. So when he does things or casts spells or stuff with the wand, it's always under like this, unless he's dueling, in which he goes overhand with his use of the wand. And that's actually something that's pretty interesting too. But William Hurt as Ollivander, I love how he explains wand lore, where he says that different cores have different strengths, different woods have different strengths. Hermione's wand is very good for certain things. Harry's wand is a special wand due to the fact that it has a twin core of a phoenix feather from Fox, as well as Voldemort's wand having a phoenix core from Fox. But yeah. Getting back to the first movie, they didn't have any real design for the wands. And you could tell as they were making these movies, they had to evolve certain aspects because certain aspects needed to be brought into the movies because they were getting more detailed. The movies had a more detailed essence to them, as well as the books. But when it came to certain things like Harry in certain instances, I think that they actually did a very good job. Daniel Radcliffe, he's an amazing actor. I'm not going to say that he's not just because he's kind of an idiot outside of acting. In my opinion, he's had some pretty idiotic takes. But you know what? Some people are allowed to disagree, you know? I may disagree with his outlook on certain things, but honestly, I think that he is a good actor. The kid has skill in acting. As do the other two. I mean, Emma Watson, she did a great job as Hermione Granger. Now, one of the biggest things that a lot of people didn't realize is in Harry Potter the movies, Hermione Granger had big teeth. She was her problem with teeth or she had a big problem with self-consciousness because of her teeth. And well, later on, she would get hit by a curse in which her teeth were growing abnormally, and fucking Severus Snape is like, I don't see a difference, which is just fucking plain evil. So she actually got her teeth magically reduced at the hospital wing, which was clever. I mean, Hermione Granger would have done very well in Ravenclaw. And another thing that a lot of people don't realize is in the movie, you call out certain characters and then you call out the main characters of the trio. Well, in the books, the Sorting Hat goes in alphabetical order. So it's like, yeah, you can't exactly do that because, well, as you are adapting books to movies, you have to change a little things up here. One of the things why Neville Longbottom wasn't in detention with them was because they wanted to keep the trio together. They wanted to actually have all three of them working together and staying together, building up the friendship together and such. So, yes, I understand why they would do that or make certain changes. What's his name who plays Argus Filch, dude? Oh, or he also played in the MCU in Captain America, the First Avenger. And he also played in Game of Thrones. I thought you'd say big something. No. But the guy who plays Argus Filch really loved his character, or really loved how he played his character. A lot of people don't realize, well, why is this guy who seemingly has no magical talent allowed on the grounds of Hogwarts? Well, it's because he's a squib. David Bradley, yes. And for those of you who don't know, squibs you are born with magic, you just have no measurable magic talent. You can't use it even though you are born with it. Essentially, you are the equivalent of a blank sperm cell, firing blanks. You know, you have the power, or you are born into the light. You just don't have the power. Your wand or giving you a wand is useless. Essentially, is what a squib is. It unfortunately happens in the magical world. However, what they don't point out as well in the movies, because the movies are detailed to a point, but they're not richly detailed to the lore or a lot of the lore. When it comes to Muggle-borns, believe it or not, there is actually, or Muggle-borns are born or have magic in them because of an atavism. It means that there was a witch or wizard in their ancestry, and it just didn't. The magic in them just went dormant for many generations. So Hermione Granger, in her past, has a witch or wizard in her family. There's just no, or they just didn't go back far enough to in her family tree to know where or when. I recall someone mentioned Bradley was in another film recently. I don't recall the title. I know he was also in Hot Fuzz because me and Mara mentioned or watched that a while back. Hot Fuzz is such a funny freaking movie. I mean, Simon Pegg and them are so freaking great, and Nick Frost. But yeah, Bradley's been in, or when I see him, it's like, hey, Filch, what's up? But yeah, him and Mrs. Norris. I always thought there was something different about Mrs. Norris. I always wonder, is like, is she an animagus or is she just a cat? I'm curious. Is there a deeper meaning to Mrs. Norris? You know. Also, I found out that my own Patronus, I do believe, is a greyhound of all different things, and it's like, really, I don't like this. My fucking Patronus would most likely fly. I'm sorry. I just like my Patronus as something a little bit more interesting. But getting back to Sorcerer's Stone, they basically kept it to the bare minimum of what they needed to put in the films. Because even as the film is over 2 hours, you still have to cut it down to a point where you can't get overt with a lot of stuff. However, you do have to basically get all the nooks and cranny and the important bits into it. So they actually did a good job with that. So moving on to, because I've spent like 30 fucking minutes on Sorcerer's Stone, we are going to move on to the next one, which is Chamber of Secrets. So yes, Chamber of Secrets, folks. Honestly, it's actually a step up from the Sorcerer's Stone, where Sorcerer's Stone had blatant background things, and also the mirror, or going back to year one, Mirror of Erised plays a role in the film, which then plays a role later on in other films, which I thought was also very good too. But getting back into Chamber of Secrets, I really enjoyed this one a lot more. This is also the only movie that in the Harry Potter franchise that had a post-credit scene. Because of Gilderoy Lockhart and whatnot. The first movies is still one of the best adaptations. Yes, they are. I do agree. They only get, or the adaptations from book to film only get worse as the movies go on, because you have to change certain things. You also couldn't put certain things in and such. Listening to the actors talk about each other is also fun, but that'll come up in later. But yes, Daniel Radcliffe, his voice was already breaking in the first movie, where you could tell shots were done that movie was very much shot out of sequence, because when you see him running to the cupboard after the Dursleys' house gets bombarded by letters, you can hear his voice was actually already starting to break, where it's like, get off. They're my letters. Let go of me. It doesn't sound like anything of Harry Potter a few minutes earlier. But in this movie, his voice is finally fully broken, and he's or you don't need to worry about that tender age anymore, except for Rupert Grint, because his voice was breaking all over the place in this movie. Rupert Grint was going through puberty during the making of Chamber of Secrets, and boy did it show in this movie, because he had the high up pitched voice, and it's like that, and it's like, holy shit. Did you know that there is a Lost Harry Potter webtoon featuring the voice of Grey Delisle? No, I did not, Christian, and good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. One of the things I did like, though, is Kenneth Branagh in this film. Kenneth Branagh is a great actor. He's also a good director. But as Chris Columbus did the first two movies, I think, or also John Williams is responsible for a great score. His score for Harry Potter, or rather his compositions for Harry Potter, did a very good job. They had somebody else do the composing, but he was the one who wrote the music, or John Williams was the one who wrote the Harry Potter theme. Also, Hedwig. I love Hedwig. And the fact that Hedwig died in book 7 broke my heart. But I'm glad they actually gave Hedwig a better death in the movie, you know? I remember mentioning about Miriam Margolyes, Professor Sprout, once when I covered an animated film, Balto Scene, although she's in other films as well. Yeah. Miriam Margolyes was good, but that's in Yep, she's in this one. Miriam Margolyes, Professor Sprout is the head of Hufflepuff House. And that's another thing that a lot of people don't get. You got I can't remember who was the head of Ravenclaw House, but the head of Hufflepuff house is Professor Sprout. Gryffindor house is Professor McGonagall, and Snape is head of Slytherin house. I can't remember who is the head of Ravenclaw house, though. Also, there's a running gag in these movies that the post for Defense Against Dark Arts never has a teacher that lasts more than 1 year. Professor Flitwick was for Ravenclaw. Ah, right. Also, folks, Professor Flitwick, which they don't show in the movie, unfortunately, he is a master duelist. He is actually one of the best duelists in the wizarding world, according to the lore, which is pretty cool. And Warwick Davis plays Professor Flitwick so well. I like how they had him in the first movies where he was a very older gentleman, and he had that or all that makeup, but they went less with the makeup for Warwick in, I believe, third on, because his looks definitely changed. Missed opportunity. Davis was great. Yes, he in fact was very great. Although his time to shine came in book 7 or movie 7 or 7 part 2. Because he was also 2 characters in or he was multiple characters. He was the head goblin in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. He also provided the voice for Griphook in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone as well. And then he would play Griphook in Deathly Hallows, and he also plays Flitwick throughout the movies as well. And even his kids played goblins in Deathly Hallows Part 2. Warwick Davis is a brilliant freaking actor. One of my favorite movies with Warwick Davis is Willow, the Willow movie, not to be mistaken with the Willow show, because I honestly think they really disrespected the character of Willow in the Willow show. It's why I didn't watch past a certain amount of episodes. But Warwick Davis has done so much for the dwarf community, for the little person community. And also, my condolences to Warwick Davis for the loss of his wife. I feel that, or I think that that was a great blow to him and his family, and may she rest. But getting back into Chamber of Secrets, man, what they don't tell you is that before the second movie, Harry Potter actually had a bigger room when he was getting sent home from Hogwarts. They gave him a bigger room because they knew exactly where he was. What they don't show you what they did in the books was when they were getting all those letters, cracking eggs, trying to move to different places, hotels, and then out into that freaking middle of nowhere shack in the middle of the ocean. He was getting letters that mentioned specifically where he was, where Harry was. On the floor of a hotel, the cupboard under the stairs, and whatnot, when he was getting his letters, which was great. In this one, they are more aware of his magic, but they still want to try to keep it down, the Dursleys. I do like, or the family who played the Dursleys was very well. The actors who played the Dursleys loved it, man. Loved them, loved them, loved them. The one who plays Vernon Dursley has passed on. So yes, rest in peace to him. A lot of the actors and actresses to Harry Potter have also passed on. Alec Rickman is gone. The 2 Dumbledores are gone. But this was the final one with Richard Harris as Dumbledore. And I always wondered how would they do or if Richard Harris had lived for the rest of the movies, how he would do certain scenes like the dueling scenes, because you see Dumbledore cut loose in future films. But yeah, him as Dumbledore in this one was very good. The scenes with Tom Riddle where it's mentioned he was a very dashing young man. He looked a lot like his father. However, he secretly hated his father because his father was a muggle. I think that they did a good job with that. Also Ginny Weasley's possession, and also Ginny Weasley having a crush on Harry Potter once she realized it was Harry Potter, but she started crushing on him early on, and a lot of people realized that. The third movie, I don't think they really touched on it too much. I can't remember what or much about. Honestly, I just watched these movies like recently, and I can't remember a lot of Ginny Weasley in the movie. But Bonnie Wright actually did a good job playing Ginny Weasley. But I do like the fact that she was more, or that she liked him before she even knew he was famous. She actually liked him in the first movie before they realized who it was, you know? As for the flu powder, man, the flu powder the flu powder introduction, Diagonelli. It's like, how did they not expect him to say that right? Especially when he just saw his best friend freaking burst into green flame. It's like, you just handed this kid, well, not so much a bomb, but something that was indeed going to go wrong. What did he say, dear? Diagonelli. Which is very funny if you actually look at it. Diagon alley is literally diagonally in English language. So that is a fun little thing too. Nocturnally, Nocturne Alley is also something that is there too. However, Nocturne is actually put or spelled with K instead of just the N, you know? But I do like how they were able to do a lot with Chamber of Secrets, establishing Parcel Tongue with Harry Potter. The one thing I didn't like was you don't really understand what he's saying. They don't translate it in certain scenes. Also, the language itself is a little bit inconsistent because he's saying open to the Chamber of Secrets, and then he says supposedly supposed to say the same thing again, and it doesn't work, or it does work, but it's like he's saying something different. So it's like, shit, fix it. So also when you just know that Kenneth Branagh's character is a fucking fraud at the beginning of the movie. It's like somebody who seeks this much fame in the wizarding world just comes across as fraud, in my opinion. And it was very much a relief to see that it was confirmed later on when he's trying to run away. As well as the battle with the basilisk. One of the things they got so freaking wrong, but they put it in the movie and in the books, I do believe, is that the basilisk was blinded but could still hear. And it's like, snakes are naturally deaf. Snakes can't hear. They focus on motion and whatnot. So, yeah. That was odd. I do like how Aragog was introduced, the big acromantula. They did a great job with that because it was a very practical. Aragog was practical. His children were not. However, there were some acromantulas that were practical, like the one that grasps onto Ron and then is blown off with the Arania Exime. A lot of people forget that Arania Exime was learned, or Harry learned that from Tom Riddle. And it's like, people forget that, you know? That would love to have seen the fight between Lucius and Arthur. Yes, that was a missed opportunity because they should have shown Arthur Weasley and Lucius Malfoy bust out because it's like these two basically caused a huge ruckus in Borgin and Burks. And also, I do like Dobby. A lot of people give Dobby a lot of shit, but I actually liked Dobby's character. Dobby was a good character. As annoying as he could be, Dobby was a good character. It's because he yearned for a greater life for himself, even though he was odd compared to the rest of the house elves who accepted their purposes. They didn't want to be, or they didn't want to be freed to make their own choices because they honestly felt that they were that they served a greater purpose. You know, people don't realize that the common rooms get cleaned up by the house elves. They make all the food. The food just doesn't appear out of nowhere. No, the house elves actually snap it over to the dining hall, to the Great Hall. And so, yes, the introduction to house elves with Dobby, the bludger, and all of that stuff is so freaking great. Also, what they don't show in the beginning of the movie is that Harry got a letter for using a levitation charm in his house. And that pissed off Vernon because it's like, these people have government? It's like, what the fuck? Compared to the books, it is a little bit. I like the book a little bit better than the movie. I like the books better than the movies, but there are some things that I think they did better in the movies than they did in the books. Harry Potter or Chamber of Secrets was good because for the most part, it told the story as it needed to be told. They cut out a lot of the stuff otherwise because otherwise you would have had a lot more problems, or you would have had to explain a little bit more stuff to here and that. But we are going to move on to because I can't do 30 freaking minutes plus with each ones. I'll be here all day. Moving on to Prisoner of Azkaban. Yep. Prisoner of Azkaban. This movie really busted out the lore a lot more. Where, yes, you learn a lot about Harry Potter and his connection to Voldemort in the second movie. And you learn that there's greater significance to that diary later on. However, in the third movie, Prisoner of Azkaban, you really do get a wider perspective to the wizarding world. Ron and his family kind of came into, or they're a very poor family. However, they managed to get a little bit more money, or they managed to come into some money from a sweepstakes and whatnot. And so Ron was able to buy more or get a new wand. The books cover some things well, while the films had certain liberties that handled better compared to what is covered in the books. Yes. Hey, Neozoic, good to see you. All day sounds fine to me. Oh yeah, believe me, if I had another person on here to actually talk about this stuff, believe me, I would. Or it would be better, but these ones are more for solo streaming. And what's up? So getting into Prisoner of Azkaban, I like the book, or the Magical Beast book, or that is trying to fight or bite everybody. We also learned that Scabbers, which has been Ron's pet for the last 2 years, has a secret. And Sirius Black, the only person known to escape Azkaban prison, decided now to escape. And this was also a movie in which it wasn't all about Harry. The reason why Sirius Black escaped Azkaban had nothing to do with Harry Potter and had everything to do with him seeing a rat in a newspaper, a very certain rat that he recognized very well. And I love how a lot of people ask, well, how did he escape Azkaban? How did he escape Azkaban? Well, that is the question in the movies, yes. In the book, it's, you know? Now, the whole Grimm bit in the movie, I hate this movie. They changed the grounds and they showed the Grimm up in the clouds instead of showing Sirius Black watching the game from the pitch as the dog, which was kind of stupid. We're getting some buffering. I am sorry about the buffering. I can't really change anything about that. Fun question. What if Harry Potter and Yusuke Urameshi from... Oh, Jesus Christ. Chances are Yu Yu Hakusho would think very little of Harry Potter. But I'm really not going to get into off topics like that. I'm sorry, Niazog. This one has to stay on topic because otherwise I will be here all day. And I don't want to be here all day for this. As for... But yes, this is when the movies were actually introduced to more... It's okay, Neozoic. To more detailed wands. This is RJ Lupin's wand, and this is actually one of my favorite wands because it fits very... I like the nub or the round bits at the end, and this one just happens to fit very well in my hand. You have a good placement for the fingers, and also it gives a good... Or it's very... This one is more sturdy. However, do not bend these things at all. Do not put any strength into your bending because there is a lead core in these wands, folks, and they will snap. These are not wood. These are fiber, or these are like fiberglass or something, or plastic and whatnot with a finish. But yes, I do like RJ Lupin. Also, RJ Lupin is one of the better Defense Against Dark Arts teacher. There is good bits in the movie. Don't get me wrong. The introduction to the Dementors was an interesting thing. Harry learning his Patronus, showing the werewolf, showing that there was actually a need for the Whomping Willow, which I kind of blew over in the Chamber of Secrets. But I hate that they made Snape look like a protective hero by putting him between the kids and the werewolf Lupin. He's a teacher. He would do that. He was still unconscious in the book. Yes, but in the movie, he is a teacher. First and foremost, he is a teacher. If those students are in danger, he will protect them. As much as he hates Harry Potter, as much as he can't stand looking at those eyes that remind him every day of his long lost love of Lily Potter or of Lily Jane or Evans. We learned that there is significance to Harry Potter having the same eyes as Lily, which is an interesting thing because if you actually look at the eyes of Lily Evans in the movies, not the same, folks. She has brown eyes. Oh, damn. Rowling said the Dementors were her physical manifestation of depression. Yes, because they were a physical manifestation of depression. They suck out all the joy that you feel, and they eventually leave you in a fugue state before they suck out your soul. And yes, later, green eyes and whatnot. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. But yes, there was a lot of inconsistency in this movie. I did not like how the grounds were changed, where they have to head down this thing to get to Hagrid's. Buckbeak was a lovely, was a very cool addition. The firebolt, where he gets it at the end of the movie, I hate that. I like how he had the firebolt in the middle of the movie. They're like, yeah, we don't know where this came from. We don't know who sent it to you. We are going to have to confiscate it until we know more, until there is no danger to you. Because at the point, everybody thought that Sirius Black broke out of Azkaban to kill Harry. because they all thought that he was a big supporter of Voldemort, except that it turns out he wasn't. Sirius Black gave Hagrid the motorcycle he used to fly Harry to Surrey, to Little Whinging. It's even mentioned in the first book, Good Man, that Sirius Black, except that he got arrested shortly after he tried going after Pettigrew, and Pettigrew escaped by cutting off his finger and then turning into a rat. And that comes to play in this movie. I do believe the finger, or in the books, in the fourth book coming up, he cuts off his hand. Pettigrew actually cuts off his hand. And I do believe it was the hand that was missing a finger. So when he got his hand restored by Voldemort, it was a full-fingered hand. But in the movie, yeah. Or this was a movie in which Harry Potter wasn't the main, or wasn't the intended focus. Sirius Black broke out of prison because he found out that Peter Pettigrew was still alive and Harry could be in danger. You know? Same about the fireball. Yeah, Toodle say. Reason for the eyes was that Radcliffe had issues with the contact lenses, according to the behind-the-scenes details. Yeah. There are also scenes that, if you pay very close attention, folks, there are scenes in which you will see Harry Potter wearing his glasses, Daniel Radcliffe wearing those glasses, but there are no lenses in them. It's like, oh my God, man. It's like, why do they have him with certain scenes where those glasses don't have lenses to them? And, but overall, the movie's enjoyable, don't get me wrong. But overall, I wasn't that much of a fan. Especially, it's like, I understand they had to recast Richard or Dumbledore, but it's like, oh my God, it's just such a very big smack in the face difference between Michael Gambon and Richard Harris, you know? Although I do think that Michael Gambon did a decent Dumbledore. I hated his character. I wasn't very fond of the aggressive Dumbledore in the next movie, because it's like, holy shit, dude, you look like you want to murder him. But I'll get to that in a bit, because that was such a big problem for the fourth movie. I do like David Thewlis as R.J. Lupin. David Thewlis is also a great actor. The first movie I remember David Thewlis in was Dragonheart, where he played Prince Einon. So I could tell that the man has range where he could play bad characters as well as good characters. But also, yes, Remus Lupin's wand is actually my favorite wand, because it has just the right grip for it. But also, I do like the Elder Wand too, because I also like twirling wands in my hands like this. So, yeah. Now, we also learn in the, or is it the third or the fourth? The third movie, right? The reason why the whole Whomping Willow was created was because of Remus Lupin being attacked by a werewolf, and he needed a place to get to the Shrieking Shack. So, yes, get into the Shrieking Shack. And also, we learned that why Sirius Black was an animagus, as well as Messrs. Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prong, the Marauders map. I love the Marauders map sequences, folks. The Phelps brothers for Fred and George, I love that. It's like, everyone, where they are, what they're doing, every minute of every day. It's so freaking cool. It's like, we owe them so much. So yeah, the Marauders map was a great, Dexterous, thank you, was a great thing. Plus, most missed characters in all of the movies are Dobby and Peeves. Yes, Peeves the Poltergeist, and yes, Dobby, I do believe, was in the fourth movie as well. House elves didn't play a huge role in the movies of the fourth movie. However, they were prominent in the fourth book. How would you compare Harry Potter film series with other adaptations such as Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones? As I said at the beginning, Neozoic, the Harry Potter film series is a very inconsistent series. The book adaptations I like, or there's a clever balance between the adaptations of the book. Some of the stuff I like in the book, some of the stuff I like in the movies. Chronicles of Narnia, I like the movies. I haven't read the books in a very long time. Game of Thrones, I have not read the books, so I couldn't compare. Lord of the Rings, the books will always be superior. But yes, Prisoner of Azkaban, we are. I like how they give Ron a little bit more importance, you know? So, not to mention they give that hope to Harry. Harry now has another member of or a family that he can cling to, even though they're not blood related. But yeah, Sirius Black is actually related to the Malfoys in one way or another, believe it or not, and that's actually interesting too. But I do like the breakout scene saving Harry and them, and as well as the time turner, which was interesting. Having what's her name as Professor Trelawney was a good touch because it's like, oh my god, that would, or I'm sorry, divination will understand. She is a mediocre teacher and a mediocre prophet in divination. However, Dumbledore kept her because, well, she was important. She dropped the prophecy that we all know from book 5 about the Dark Lord and Harry Potter. And it's like, I couldn't understand any of the prophecy. He's like, well, that's okay. I have the prophecy. And he then realized it was Trelawney who gave the prophecy in book 5. Most egregious change was giving wrong heroic stand between Harry and Sirius to Hermione. Yes. Yes. Hermione is bright, but Ron deserves moments. They made Ron less than what he was in the books. Ron had his moments. Ron had good moments even. But making Hermione also have moments too, they needed to find a balance. So I can understand why they changed a couple of things here and there. Moving on to the Goblet of Fire. Next. As I said, this is actually my favorite movie. Out of all of them, as well as my favorite book. Because I like one, I like the resurrection of Voldemort or the restoration of Voldemort. I like the Triwizard Tournament. I thought that was pretty good. Pretty much those were the biggest things. As well, the beginning of the movie, it was a bit different because the Death Eaters were attacking the Quidditch World Cup, basically just having some fun. Unfortunately, they couldn't show the full extent of what the Death Eaters were doing. And because in the books, they're torturing muggles. They're torturing, literally, levitating muggles and torturing them. However, in the book or in the movie, it was just completely out of sequence. Harry loses his fucking wand, and it's actually Harry's wand that casts the Dark Mark in the books. And it's like, oh shit. So yeah, the person who casted the Dark Mark at the at the Quidditch World Cup, um, which we learn later is Barty Crouch Jr., is well, scares off the Death Eaters. And Voldemort understood or perceived that too. He's like, you fuckers ran when you fuckers ran when my sign was sent into the sky. You pathetic weaklings. He tortures his followers when he comes back, folks. I mean, yes, I could discuss the full movie, but I want to discuss the ending bits and the beginning and the end bits because those are the more important that I feel in the movie and in the books. Where the graveyard scene was a lot bigger in the books because he is Voldemort goes on a tangent. He goes and explains a lot or the entirety so that there was no doubt to his followers of how he lost his power. He wanted them to understand everything, which was kind of stupid. But I do love the situation. I mean, I can literally, when I was reading that book before I saw the movie, I could visualize it. I could visualize it after I saw the movie or the third movie. I could visualize Wormtail. I could visualize Harry Potter and all of them. But I could literally visualize Voldemort coming out of that cauldron. He didn't, or he was. What you see in the movie is very different from what happens in the book. You see the duel, yes, that's great, but also that duel, literally from here to way over here on a hill, after after the twins were forced to duel each other, the twin wands. So yes, there was literally a magical barrier that separated Voldemort and Harry from the rest of them. And the dialogue in the movie was not the best. Do nothing, he's fine to finish. It's like, dude, you are sounding way too cliche bad guy. It's like, I just feel that he would have had a more, or if he had a more menacing voice, I feel that it would have, Ralph Fiennes is a great actor, don't get me wrong. I just feel that he should have had a more menacing voice. There should have been a more more menace to his voice. This man is literally part snake due to the fact that he tore his soul up so much. Crouch Jr. was supposed to be under an invisibility cloak. Yep. As well as under the Imperius curse too. So then we get to Mad Eye Moody. I have Mad Eye Moody's wand. Now, folks, this wand is unfortunately damaged, but I am working on getting it restored. This wand, which came from Noble Collection, I was one of the first people to get it. It was a limited run, a very limited run. If you manage to find a Mad Eye Moody wand, it's going to cost you $500 now. Back then, it was like $32.99 when I got it. So yes, Mad Eye Moody. Also, I will be getting to his stuff too. I love how frickin' Brendan Gleeson played Mad Eye Moody, as well as Barty Crouch Mad Eye Moody, because Barty Crouch Mad Eye Moody is the one giving the lessons as Professor Moody. And when he goes over the unforgivable curses, and I also like how he holds his wand, how he is very much baton, but also he pushes the nub into his hand and very much jabs his wand forward to cast his spells. This is a guy they did a good job. Unfortunately, I really do feel that they should have done a little bit more digital composite with the Mad Eye instead of having it strapped to his eye. In fact, they should have had it, or could have done like a green wipe over for his eye and then do a small little bit of enlargement to show that the eye was actually in his socket. Um, yes. Also, this wand here is also Mad Eye Moody's wand. However, this was a more bigger commemorative. As you can see, there is a very big size difference between the two wands here. But this one is one that I use for my headcanon stuff, which I will get to later. But I love the scene with him teaching the unforgivable curses. I don't like the differences because Hermione Granger actually is willing to say the third curse. However, she's not willing to say it very loudly. She's willing to whisper it. And I love in the books, it's like, you all could shout that spell at me and I barely would probably feel a tickle. But also, he's teaching Harry and them to actually fight against the Imperius curse. So his own teaching, his own cover is somewhat contradictory to what happens to Harry later in the graveyard. Because he's setting up Harry to die. He is setting up Harry to die because obviously Mad Eye is not Mad Eye. Did you think Harry Potter made a huge impact on the same level as Lord of the Rings doing? Young adult literature, yes. Very much you have a lot of Potterheads. I'm one of them, I'll admit it, but I read it mostly as an adult. Where nowadays, Mad Eye was an interesting character. Also, this one is not a knockoff, Toodle say. This one actually is a replica or is a licensed replica from noblecollection.com. Noblecollection.com does a lot of good stuff there, folks. They have a lot of greatly ornate made wands that are affordable. I also have Snape's somewhere in this house. I lost it somewhere in this house, sadly. I love Snape's wand. It's very basic, but with the ruined handle, or with a handle with runes on it. So I might actually get another one of those later down the line. Knee meet desk. Yeah. The fucking, I mean, in the book, yes, Harry is learning to, he's like, jump on the desk. And you hear in Harry's mind, he's like, but why? And so he actually is able to fight it, but it comes at a cost. And it's so freaking hilarious. The last unforgivable curse was also one of Hermione's wasn't willing to say, but Barty, as Mad Eye, said it for the class of Avada Kedavra. She whispers it in the book. She whispers it, and he's like, or in the book, it's a spider. In the movie, and it's like, you honestly think I don't know what a tailless whip scorpion is? So, yes, they are, because tailless whip scorpions, I meant that the price now, I'm glad I have a cheaper knockoff myself. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yes, I like, or it's like, talented, isn't she? What should I ever do next? Jump out the window? Oh, shit. It's all fun and games until you got serious with it. Drown herself? So I love how he does that misdirect. It's like, you all are having fun watching this. Oh, you think it's all fun and games. I could have it kill itself right now. Oh, yeah, I could drown it. Make it jump out the window. Yeah, y'all think it's fun and games, don't you? And yeah, a lot of Death Eaters claimed that they were under the Imperius Curse back when they were doing the Dark Lord's bidding. And yet, then we find out that how do we sort out the liars? Well, it's very interesting. How do you sort out the liars? It's called Veritaserum. I mean, honestly, Veritaserum, it's like the use of it on a student is regrettably forbidden. However, and it's like, yeah, here's the thing. I would have fucking used that after Voldemort fell the first time. It's like, we are going to weed out the liars like right fucking now. We are going to weed them out because we are not going to put up with this shit. We are going to find out who is faithfully serving the Dark Lord, you know? I mean, there is just so much wrong with the endings and stuff. of, or with the writing in certain books, or in the books as well as the movies. But I do love his treatment of Malfoy as well, where he turns Malfoy into a ferret. That was also fun. But yes, the graveyard scene, I can visualize it done better in movie form than the movie itself has done. If they would have stuck much more to the book, where more people come out of Voldemort's wand than just Harry Potter, the old man, or Harry Potter's parents and the old man, and Cedric Diggory. There was more things that came out of that wand than just dead people. And it's like, yeah, his wand, Priori Incantatem, removes spells that were cast in the order they were cast, from most recent to earlier. So yes, when he was forcing Voldemort's wand to regurgitate spells, there was Bertha Jorkins, there was the spell of recreating Wormtail's hand, and a few other litany of things as well. Yep, Bertha Jorkins. It's too bad they left out the riddle puzzle before getting to the graveyard. Yes, or there's also that. Also, it wasn't Longbottom that provided the gillyweed. It was Dobby that provided the gillyweed. From the Sphinx, yes. But yeah, there's just so much in this. I also do believe it was in this book that Hermione started what was it, Barf or some shit, house elf rights and whatnot. She started going activist, and the fucking house elves were stopped freaking cleaning up the common room, Gryffindor common room, because she was trying to unwillingly free them. And it's like, you're trying to force them into freedom when they don't want it. Stop doing that. So she's like, yeah, or Dobby's like, yeah, I clean your guys' place now because, well, the other house elves don't want your clothes. You know? Yeah, spew. That's right. Elf welfare, special rights for elf welfare or something like that. But yeah, it's just fucking ridiculous. And so when they bring him back, I like the revelations in the book. It's like, wait, dude, Mad Eye Moody, one of the biggest and baddest fucking Orfair or Society for the Protection of Elvis. Yeah. Elvish welfare, yeah. It's like Mad Eye Moody was the bad guy in this. And then it's like, I'm not getting it until freaking Dumbledore shows up, and it's like, Mad Eye would never have left my side if I told you to, or if I said that you stay, Mad Eye would have listened. That ain't Mad Eye. So yes, I like how, or also instead of or it's like, Harry, did you put your name in a goblet of fire? It's like, no, you're not gonna listen instead. No, it's like, you're absolutely sure. It's like, dude, seriously, chill out, man. That's not how it goes in the book. But it's like, holy shit, man. Also, there was one scene that I really wish they had put in the film, where Karkaroff spits in Dumbledore's face and Hagrid just grabs him, shoves him up against the tree, choking the life out of him. It's like, you fucking apologize right now. It's like, Hagrid, let him go. Holy shit, man. But yeah, there are so many differences in this movie, but I still enjoy it as a movie. And you could see how, I love how the Weasleys all have mixed feelings about Fleur Delacour. And it's like, Bill Weasley comes in and freaking falls in love with Fleur Delacour. Also, Bill Weasley is, or the actor who plays Bill Weasley in the later movies was, or is Brendan Gleeson's son, I do believe. And also plays as General Hux in the god-awful Disney trilogy. But yes, Polyjuice Potion was a bitch, man. The after effects of when the Weasley twins were cast out, or after the age rules, was amusing. Yeah. It's like, ready? Yes! Fucking hilarious. It's like, not to mention, Dame Maggie Smith has one of the best lines in the movies. I will not have you besmirching this school by acting like or a bunch of, or a band of babbling baboons or something like that. A bunch of babbling bunch of band of baboons or something like that. Yeah. And it's like, try saying that 5 times fast, huh? Babbling, bumbling band of baboon. Babbling, bumbling band of baboons. The Phelps twins had a lot of fun playing the Weasley twins. I would think. But yeah. Yes. Characters that were not in this movie. Peeves. Frickin' Peeves had a lot of, or Lupin had a lot of fun with Peeves in the third movie. Dobby, Peeves, Percy, and Ludo Bagman. Yep. Also Bill, Charlie, and Mrs. Weasley being there. Yep. I love what happens in the first movie or in the fourth movie when at the end, after he's back and he gets back and whatnot, they're trying to tell the minister, it's like, minister, we're having a parting of the ways if you are not going to listen to reason here. There's a reason why the minister, or there is such a huge degree of stupidity from the ministry in the fifth movie that a lot of people, or it's only briefly touched on in the fifth movie. But at the end, it's like, you should have shown that what went on. And instead of, or it's like, why did that, bumbling. That's what I said, bumbling. Correcting yourself. Okay, got it. But yeah, they should have showed what happened. Not to mention, I love what happens on the train back to Hogwarts, where frickin' Malfoy tries throwing insults or throwing down the gauntlet at Harry and stuff. It's like, he's back, boys, and you better be careful, otherwise you're going to get the same fate as Cedric Diggory. Everybody frickin' threw curses at Malfoy, Crabbe Goyle and Malfoy, because the bastard was really going, or man, frickin' the way that it's described, frickin' Malfoy looked like fucking Cthulhu at the end of, or when he got back to the frickin' platform. Rita Skeeter in a jar as well. Yes, Rita Skeeter. I wish they had gone with the dark hair instead of the frickin' blonde hair. Not to mention, this movie also had the introduction to Bellatrix Lestrange, where you see how she was the most loyal servant to Voldemort. Also, I have Bellatrix's wand. Folks, believe me, I love this wand. She holds it in certain ways. She holds it like this when she casts the Killing Curse in the movie, but I like it how she holds it like this and whatnot. How she holds her finger up to kind of almost like Mad Eye Moody, so to speak. Not to mention, Helena Bonham Carter as Bellatrix Lestrange was the perfect freaking cast. But Rita Skeeter being an unregistered animagus was also something that was very important in the books, which they should have put in the movie. Unfortunately, there was a lot going on in the movie that they had to trim out a lot in the books. And that's why the fourth movie gets a bad rap, because there was so much stuff that they couldn't put in the movie that they had to trim out, because that's one of the biggest books, folks. I do believe that when you look at the paperbacks for all the movies, fucking where first 3 books are like this thick, fucking Goblet of Fire is like twice as thick. Like, holy shit, man. And then they only got bigger after that. Or they went from first 3 movies. Next movies are all fucking handful thickness of the pages. So getting to Order of Phoenix, there was a lot there that they had to change too. But we do get introductions to some great characters. Luna Lovegood, the Thestrals. I like this cover here, folks. Um, I'm not going to cover the movie or all of these in such a huge fashion, like going through the movies a lot like I did. One of the things I do like in this movie is they continued pushing or spreading the lore and the kids learning. Toadface, dear God, that was a perfect casting for Dolores Umbridge. Boy, that was a perfect casting for Dolores Umbridge. Because, yeah. Also, it was a perfect casting for Nymphadora Tonks. Because I really thought that she did a great job as Nymphadora Tonks. Or with the pink hair that could turn red, turn different, or she's a Metamorphagus, where there's Animagus and Metamorphagus, which are pretty fun to look at, and I love how they showed her different talents. The fifth book had a much better duel in the book than in the movie between Dumbledore and Voldemort. However, because a lot of people don't realize that Voldemort cast Fiendfire, which was something that was in book 7. And it's like, this is what Fiendfire looks like when it is cast properly. In book 7, Fiendfire, or you see Fiendfire used differently, which they don't even. That's the problem with the movies. They didn't explain what certain spells were when they should have. Fiendfire is a very dark fire. It's a very dark flame, or dark magic flame, essentially, that can kill Horcruxes. We are also in the movie. There was the 5th movie, Dumbledore was very much avoiding Harry due to the fact that he was already aware that Harry had been seeing into Voldemort's head a little bit. And so he didn't want that link known. And so he suspected it, and the occlumency of Snape's worst memory, where you now learn that James Potter was a piece of shit and a bully. He wasn't that perfect person that Harry Potter knows or has heard his father to be. My father was a great man. Your father was a swine, man. And then he got that reality check. Now, in the movie, it's because of a rebounded Legilimens spell. In the book, Snape has the pensieve from that Dumbledore had up in his office when Harry went looking around in those memories of the different court sequences in which Barty Crouch was revealed, or his son was revealed to be a Death Eater. Nymphadora and Luna were my favorite witches. Yeah, it's because they were so unorthodox, really. And it's like the actress who plays Luna Lovegood was so freaking great. I really enjoyed it. The poor screenwriter who was in charge for only this movie had to maneuver around all of the previous mistakes, left out leads from other movies. Yeah. Or lead-ins from other movies. Yep. Cho Chang was done dirty in this movie. I do believe that she was done really dirty in this movie. However, it is also in the books in which she was caught and by the Inquisitorial Squad. However, it was under Veritaserum that they didn't really explain or have them visit her or show that they were on good terms afterward. there is some stuff that was unresolved. However, the sequences at the ministry, they chop that down a lot. They chopped that down a lot because there was so much more that went on in the Department of Ministries, those weird, wacky brains and the other things. Oh my God, there was just so much. However, they put it down into a more serious situation. It's like, give me the prophecy now or watch your friends die. It's that simple. And, well, that's the beginning of Malfoy's fall from grace. But I also like how Harry stood up and was like, why did Voldemort need me to get this? And you see that the sycophant inside of Bellatrix Lestrange. It's like, you dare say his name, you filthy half-blood. It's like, Voldemort's a half-blood. What are you talking about? And it's like, how dare you? And it's like, shut up, bitch. She's deranged, but she was also learning shit. I mean, Bellatrix Lestrange was literally Voldemort's second. This wand, folks, I have a fan fiction or headcanon that has to do with this wand after the events of the movies. That also has to do with Hermione Granger. Because I'm telling you right now, the shit that went on between Hermione Granger and Bellatrix Lestrange, holy shit, there should have been some PTSD, maybe even a psychotic break. How would you compare Lord Voldemort with other Dark Lords, such as Sauron, Sidious, Darkseid, yada yada? Voldemort, oh my God, a lot of people fucking give the Harry Potter movies shit, like drawing comparisons between Voldemort and Sidious. Rules of Galaxy couldn't even take over high school. And it's like, dude, Voldemort took over the fucking government in the UK. He infiltrated, or his school, or the school was already under his control until it was taken back by the Order after Harry Potter infiltrated it. And then, yeah, he did get into the fight. He broke down the barrier. But nobody ever fucking thinks about that. No, they got to go the fucking simple routes. So, yeah, that kind of mental retardation online just shows how stupid people are. And yes, comparing Lord Voldemort to Darth Sidious is kind of a very stupid thing because you are comparing a person who is stuck on one planet to a universe that has multiple planets. Unfair comparison. Apples to literally peanuts by comparison. Not something that should be properly done. Harry using the Cruciatus curse, I thought was very interesting because it's like, holy shit, yeah, that kid's pissed off enough. And it's like, I kind of think he did mean it. So when she's actually dueling Harry, because they don't, or they show that she actually is dueling Harry, or it's a very one-sided duel because she's like, you gotta mean that, Potter. You're going off raw hatred right now. You have to actually want to inflict it. I'm pretty sure he did. But it's like, really? There is a difference in the movie and the books that is kind of stupid. Also, I do like that Fox actually comes in to save Dumbledore's ass, where literally Fox comes in to eat a killing curse from Voldemort, and then you see him coming up as a baby phoenix on the floor. Also, the statue of in the Ministry of Magic was, or I wish they had shown that as well, because you see, or Voldemort or Dumbledore comes in, man. It's like, oh shit just got real. Dumbledore's in the house now. We're about to see a seriously powerful duel here. Now, when it comes to, but we only saw a little bit of it, and when you see certain spells cast by Voldemort, it's like, please explain what these fucking spells are. Like that shadowy, gritty spell that Dumbledore likes to use, or not Dumbledore, but Voldemort likes to use. What was that spell? I mean, I would love to know what that black, shadowy spell was. Um, but at the end of it all, I love it's like you're a fool, Harry Potter, and you'll lose and everything. And he's about to kill Harry Potter, and then oh shit! And I love it. It's like he's not back. He's not back. He's not back. He's back. It's like he's back. Oh shit! And people don't realize this. In the sixth movie, Scrimgeour, who comes in the seventh movie, Scrimgeour is already the minister in the sixth movie. So yeah, the sixth movie, they should have covered the whole Muggle Prime Minister chapter. I wish they had, but they didn't. So getting over to the sixth, or also the death of Sirius Black, had a very impactful ending for the fifth book, where the Dursleys were basically threatened with death by the Order of the Phoenix after Harry lost his godfather. The death of Sirius Black fucking hurt, man. Gary Oldman was perfectly cast as Sirius Black. I'm telling you that right now. He was perfectly cast as Sirius Black. But moving on to the sixth book or sixth movie, Half-Blood Prince. Let's see here. That book or that movie was very interesting. It's one of my top ones. I'm telling you right now, folks. Half-Blood Prince was one of my top movies. And there's a reason for that. It's because it goes full on dark. Harry is now learning deeper secrets into Voldemort about the Horcruxes. The entire theater I was in shouted, "No shit, Sherlock," when Fudge said he's back. Even the kids, yeah, right? Toodle say it's like it's like no shit, Sherlock. But yeah, freaking. They also don't explain that there's a lot of or that Percy is basically broken with this family because he doesn't want to believe what Harry Potter saw from book 4. He doesn't want to believe that Dumbledore's back. I mean, very much it's shown that Percy Weasley was climbing the corporate ladder and wanting to get out from the family's woes, because the Weasley family is not a very or the purebloods, but they're not a very wealthy pureblood family. What can I say? Texas, yeah, right? But Half-Blood Prince, man, it's like who the hell? Or when I was reading that book, it's like potions. Who the hell is this person? But I figured it out just before, as I was reading, I was figuring it out just before, or just after Harry and Draco have it out with the Sectum Semper spell. It's like this is just a normal random cast spell that Harry used, unshown, mind you, that sliced up Draco Malfoy like a fucking pincushion. And it's and somehow Snape knows the counter curse for it. And it's like, bring that book to me now. Where did you learn that spell? And shit? It's like, I'm willing to bet that Snape's the Half-Blood Prince. You know? I'm willing to bet that Snape is the Half-Blood Prince. Then, lo and behold, yep, that was Snape. And then we get the ending at the end of book and movie 6, who is R.A.B. And it's like, it's not Rubius Hagrid. Who the fuck is R.A.B., you know? HBP is my least favorite. Oh, Half-Blood Prince is my least favorite adaptation. The scene with Bellatrix at the bureau makes me want to pull out my hair. Yeah, folks, there was no attack at the bureau or at the burrow. That was literally put in the movie just for filler. There was no, or I do not believe there was an attack at the burrow. Also, the fact that Fenrir Greyback using a wand. What the fuck? If you know your Harry Potter lore, you would have known that Voldemort would never have given Fenrir Greyback a wand because he felt that Fenrir Greyback was not worthy to have a wand. He liked Fenrir Greyback simply because he was a werewolf. And that's the only, he saw Fenrir Greyback as a useful tool for murder and mayhem. I was kind of putting the mystery together myself when I read the book. Alan Rickman was awesome in this one. Yes. The book was better than the film in certain moments. Yes, the book was indeed better than the film in certain moments, especially when it came to getting the Horcrux. Gotta say, the Ring of Fire that Dumbledore cast and whatnot, it's like, holy shit, dude. It's like, what kind of fucking fire is he casting that he's pulling this shit? And then the ending on top of the astronomy tower. In the movie, they had to go to, or they had to fly to, or in the movie, they could apparate out of Hogwarts from the astronomy tower. In the book, they had to fly down to Hogsmeade on broomsticks in order to be able to disapparate. Where there were layers and layers of protection on the burrow while Harry was there. Both the Order and the Ministry had spells over it. Yeah. Because at this point, Harry was under both Ministry and Order protection at the end of the fifth story. Not to mention in the fifth movie, I should go back to the fifth movie. Harry Potter was expelled from Hogwarts after saving him and his cousin's life due to Dementors attacking him. The Howler and Aunt Petunia. Yeah, it's like Vernon's getting ready to kick Harry out, and you see this Howler that comes out, and she's like, "Oh no!" And I love that Harry's like, "You know what this is?" And then it bells out, "Remember my last, Petunia." And Petunia's like, "He stays, Vernon. The boy stays." And he's like, "What was that?" And you start to get a little bit more respect for Petunia. You start to understand that Petunia Dursley does care for Harry to a degree. She's not just the heartless individual that the movies unfortunately made her out to be. You do understand that she does care. That she wanted to go. Unfortunately, she was a muggle. She didn't have the gene for magic. She didn't have the magic in her. But in this movie, Professor Slughorn, you got a good actor playing Slughorn, yes. I always pictured Slughorn in the book as, well, a guy that kind of looked like a fucking walking walrus, so to speak. Big bushy big bushy mustache and an undulating body because he's so freaking big, you know? Harry would never stand still and not try to help Dumbledore on that tower unless Dumbledore petrified him. Plus, all of the missing Voldemort memories. Yeah, there were so many freaking memories that they couldn't cover in the movie. Voldemort, or it's this movie that you understand why Defense Against Dark Arts has a different teacher every year. It's because Voldemort literally put a curse on the post because he didn't get it. And I absolutely chapter too, because it's like Harry's in the room. It's like we didn't go anywhere. We're still in the same office. And freaking Voldemort walks in. And he's like, "Shit!" I mean, it's like, oh, I would have loved to say that or to see that too, man. I would have loved to see that. True, the books did Petunia better, but she was done dirty in the film. Yes, she was indeed. She was done dirty in the film. Geek Detective Pierce. But yes, I was about to say Walrus too. Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, dude, the dude or Slughorn is very different in the books and in the movies. I mean, as I said, good actor and whatnot. Don't get me wrong. Although I would have had a different actor, one who was preferably balding and maybe a little bit. I mean, shit. The guy who played Vernon Dursley, the actor who plays Vernon Dursley, would have been a perfect fucking Slughorn. He honestly would have played a perfect fucking Slughorn. It's like, holy shit, man. But yeah, unfortunately, they didn't get that far. Not to mention Phoenix Felicis or Felicis, the liquid luck. Harry drinks all of it, and it's like, no. Harry saved some of it because he knew that, or he knew there was possibly going to be a bad thing happening once he and Dumbledore left Hogwarts. So he let Hermione and them split it a little bit so that they would be safe. Because unfortunately, yes, our Harry and Dumbledore arrive on the astronomy tower to a dark mark already in the sky. So they're like, who's dead? You know? They're wondering who's dead. And then we get the most important part in the movie where Draco Malfoy disarms Dumbledore. And it's like, they needed to put that in the movie. Because if they didn't put that in the movie, it's like, well, yeah, good luck explaining that in the 7th movie. Because there's shit that they explained in movies that didn't happen in previous movies. It's like, yeah, except that what creature was in my office the day Harry Potter first came to my office in Hogwarts? Grindylow. Except Grindylows didn't show up into the movies until the 4th movie. So yeah, there was a big problem there. They should have put that in there. Whew. But yes, the scene where Snape is chasing after them, or Snape, where Harry's chasing after them. Holy crap, man! Also, they should have been showing that Snape using Defense Against the Dark Arts. It's like, you all are woefully uneven with your classes. We're going to start teaching you nonverbal spells. And because Harry couldn't handle the fact that Snape got the post, he didn't care about listening in on the sequences or in the lectures and lessons. Everyone who didn't read this book were like, what the heck is a Grindylow? Right? Right? But yeah, in this movie, it's like when he's after Snape kills Dumbledore, he's chasing after Snape and he's yelling out his spells, and Snape's easy just deflecting them. It's like, you really should have practiced your nonverbal spells, Potter. But then he's like, he's thinking Sectum Semper, and he blasts him off his feet. And then he's like, you dare use my own spells against me? That was a great shot there, man. What are your thoughts about the moment when Snape is literally shushing Harry when he was facing Dumbledore after Draco doesn't do Dumbledore with the killing curse? It was essentially, they had to do it because Harry didn't get petrified. So they had to, or Harry knew that Dumbledore trusted him, or that Dumbledore trusted Snape. So unfortunately, because the fact that they didn't have him shown, and that Harry had to petrify him, or Dumbledore had to petrify Harry, unfortunately they had to have some sort of alternate. And unfortunately, that turns out that it didn't work so well, because it would have explained why Harry was able to move after Dumbledore was indeed dead, because he's thinking that, oh my God, this didn't happen. Oh my God, this didn't happen. But he knew deep down the reason why he was able to move after he was petrified by Dumbledore was because he was indeed dead. But I love when in the movie that moment, it's like Snape, he trusted you when he screams that from a distance, and it's like, oh shit, yeah, this boy's gonna, or this kid's got murder on the mind. One thing I think Rowling made a massive mistake, or a mistake about, was that Harry had already done 2 nonverbal spells on his own when he had so much trouble in class. Yep, that was another big problem. I mean, they really botched up a lot in the later movies. But getting on to the, or Jesus Christ, we're almost 2 hours in. Getting into the next one, folks, Deathly Hallows Part 1. Let me just finish itching my leg here. Deathly Hallows Part 1. Folks, both these movies have good parts and both these movies have bad parts. Deathly Hallows Part 1, I liked the wedding and them running and them on the run. What I did, or as well as Draco Malfoy and whatnot, or Malfoy Manor. Malfoy Manor was the best part of the movie. The fact that I mean, they were actually supposed to stop it or stop the movie when Bellatrix came up and said, "Get Draco." They were supposed to stop the movie there, but they decided to add more to it. I also did like the let's see here. That was a mistake in the book. It wasn't in the movie at all. Yeah. Well, Harry was also using nonverbal spells in the fucking movies as well, especially when he was dueling. Did you think Deathly Hallows should have stayed as one movie instead of 2? Nope. They should have, or it was good that they did too, because otherwise you would have had a very shitty movie. They had to do 2, or I understand why they did 2 parts. What they should have done, however, was release both of those movies in the same year, 6 months apart, instead of doing a fucking year apart. That was the dumbest shit they've ever done. I think that the bad parts are pretty much most of us agree on. The dialogue missing from the fight between Harry and Voldemort. Yes! But that's part 2. I liked most of Deathly Hallows Part 1. Shouldn't have cut the scenes of Ron explaining that Voldemort's name was now a jinx, a homing curse. Yes. They should have actually explained that. Or also the scene inside the Ministry. They should have shown him taking Mad Eye from Dolores Umbridge's office. The one thing I like about, or I also like the beginning. Unfortunately, they didn't, or there was a big difference about the whole wand bit and about the battle between Harry and Voldemort in the beginning of the movie, where Hedwig has a better death in the movie than he or she does in the book, because she's fucking stuck in a goddamn cage and she dies because of freaking crash or some shit, where it's like, how the hell? What the hell, man? She dies in her cage. In the movie, she has a better death, you know? She saves Harry's life, but also Harry used Expelliarmus. And that was how the Death Eaters found him or knew it was him. It's like, that's him. Get it, or pull back. And that's when Voldemort came out crashing at Harry, except that Harry's wand acted on its own accord. That's something that they didn't get either. Harry's wand acted out on its own accord because Harry's wand recognizes Voldemort because Harry himself is a Horcrux. Definitely agree about Hedwig. Yeah, totally agree with you about passing of Hedwig for sure. Yep. And he wouldn't kill Stan Shumpike. Yes. And everybody's like, what'd you do? Or what gave you away? I saw Stan Shumpike, so I tried stunning him. Are you fucking mad, man? Harry, Stan Shumpike is a good lad. It's sorry that he's under the Imperious curse and whatnot, but this is life, dude. If you're gonna do, or if you're not willing to kill, you better frickin' start making stunning your number one spell. Expelliarmus is basically your fricking mascot spell. I love how they basically go off on him for that in the books. In the movie, it's like you should have had that. It's like that should have also been something that gave him away. You know, instead of just Hedwig dying, he could have tried launching a disarming spell after Hedwig died, you know, but unfortunately it didn't work. So also you learned that Bellatrix has a twin sister in the books, but not in the movie. Also you see Kingsley Shacklebolt dead serious. It's like the last words Dumbledore said to the both of us. It's like, holy shit, man. I'm not Voldemort. I won't kill people just because they're in the way. Exactly. So it's understandable, but it's also a flaw on his part. It's like, dude, you got to understand. These people are going to kill you. You have to be willing to defend yourself. Just disarming them isn't going to work anymore, you know? So, yes, there was that. Now, the naked kissing Horcrux scene. How did they agree? Why did they agree to that? Now, also, it's like, why would Emma Watson and, well, obviously, Daniel Radcliffe has no problem getting naked because, well, naked and naked horse scene shit on stage on Broadway and whatnot. But it's like, yikes. Like, seriously, yikes. With the naked kissing Emma Watson and Daniel Radcliffe. Not to mention, she's like really going in on the kissing, folks. And it's like, holy shit, dude. I don't want to see this in a Harry Potter movie. You know? They had way too much fucking kissing in that one bit when Ron has to finally kill that freaking Horcrux. But however, the Horcrux scene was very well done. The freaking oily like thing that was coming out of him or coming out of the locket and shit was very well done. Not twins, Bellatrix Lestrange and Andromeda Tonks and Narcissa Malfoy are sisters, but all different ages. True, right. Andromeda looks like Bellatrix though, so because Harry was about to attack her. Because it's like, oh shit, or that's Bellatrix Lestrange. No, that's Andromeda Tonks, dude. Back off. Whew. But yeah. Did you prefer or think Harry Potter works best as either a miniseries show, especially the materials, the books? I like the movies as they are. The movies are poor adaptations of the books. However, as movies, I think that they're okay. As books, or if you're going to adapt them, I'm interested if they did the series right. Unfortunately, inclusivity and what or bullshit and identity politics is going to infect the under J.K. Rowling's endorsement, by the way, is going to infect the series that they have coming out. They're doing the years by series or each year is going to be a season of episodes for Harry Potter and shit. I thought miniseries would be better. I think miniseries would be interesting if they do it right. If they do it right, I have no problem with it. Unfortunately, they're basically going to make freaking Ron Weasley, or they're probably going to freaking make Harry Potter something other than he's not known to be. Yeah, they are going to wokeify it, too, it'll say. They've already said they're going to make freaking like Hermione Granger is going to be like fucking black. Harry Potter, I'm willing to bet, is going to be like Hispanic or some shit. It's like, why can't they just go by what they fucking did? What is why? Back to Deathly Hallows. The one thing I do agree on, though, the one thing I do agree on is that I'm happy that there was that scene in which Harry and Hermione do a dance. I disagree with J.K. Rowling saying that she wishes that she had Harry and Hermione get together. It's like, no, it's better that she and Ron got together. Harry gets together with Ginny, that's cool too. But damn, dude, you almost feel for a second that Harry and Hermione are about to actually kiss in that scene. And it's like, holy shit, I'm glad they didn't. You know? I hadn't heard that they were making her black, just that everyone thinks she will because of the play that shall not be named. Yeah. Well, the thing is, stop changing a stat, or all right, she may not be black, or I don't know. That's what I heard, that they were probably going to make her black. Not that they are going to make her black, but it's like, dude, learn to identify with people not based on your skin color, but through content of character. That is literally the ultimate prospect of progression in humanity. But yeah, the scene at the Malfoy Manor where she is tortured, where she has mudblood carved into her arm and shit. A lot of people who were shall we say, persecuted in the 40s, they saw this movie and they're like, dear, or some of them actually drew some correlation between mudblood carved on her arm and the numbers on those who were at Auschwitz. Let's just say, and it's like, yeah, it's a stretch, but also understandable because the blood status in the movie and whatnot. I mean, nowadays everybody's using the whole pure blood status shit with the sickness that shall not be named. And honestly, I can't stand those people either. Now, I don't care what your decision is on certain vaccination statuses, but calling yourself a pureblood is something that was very, very disgusting and common back in the 40s. Just saying. Ron's reaction to Hermione's screams should have been as frantic as it was in the book. Yes, it should have. Also, her screaming in the movie, it's like, you can understand that, yeah, she is probably in pain. But a person who was being constantly tortured with the Cruciatus Curse, as well as having mudblood carved into her arm, you would think that she would have a psychotic break of some sort. You know? That she would be damaged to some sort. Hermione Granger literally becomes Minister of Magic later in life. And I'm thinking to myself, nope, not where my headcanon put her. You know? Good day, good luck, peace out. Yep, take it easy, Neozog. Thank you for stopping by, dude. But yeah, Dobby also coming in and dying because he gets daggered through the heart. That hurt. They made that freaking hurt, man. They made that freaking hurt when Dobby died. Also, Grindelwald. The inconsistency between Grindelwald in these movies and Grindelwald in the other movies, it's like, why are you changing so much between the two? Like, can't you guys get it right? You know? So moving on to Deathly Hallows Part 2. Now, folks, I gotta say it. Deathly Hallows Part 2, where somehow Ollivander knows about Deathly Hallows, is odd. Because he didn't know shit about the Hallows in the book. He knew that there was a very powerful wand. It worked for me. It showed Hermione had a strong enough spirit to overcome what was done to her. Except that Bellatrix Lestrange had a penchant for torturing people into madness, i.e., Longbottoms. She personally tortured them into the point where they went insane. You're telling me she wouldn't have done the same to Hermione Granger, where Hermione wouldn't have had some sort of crack mentally? So I will get to that after I'm done this, folks. Yes, the Battle of Hogwarts was the scene that caused a few or more than a few seizures for some photosensitive viewers. It was because of the Battle of Hogwarts in Deathly Hallows Part 2 that there is now warnings for movies for photosensitive viewers. Because there was a few people in Italy that went to a screening of I believe that went to a screening. I heard it was Italy. I'm going to clarify. It was a theater in Italy or something where viewers went to see it, and a few of them had epilepsy. So when you had the spells blasting against the dome around Hogwarts, it's like, oh shit. Because even I felt like, God damn, I need to blink. But having people having seizures, it's like, holy shit. So yeah, when you have Voldemort freaking out on people after the break-in at Gringotts, where he just starts opening or just all out slaughtering everybody in the room. That was such a great scene. I think it was a case of Bellatrix not having enough time to break Hermione's mind and spirit because of this kid. Sure, but I still think there should have been a little bit of problems there. But I will get to it. Believe me, I will get to it because I do have a headcanon that I think is interesting. Also, but I do got to get this going because we're most likely going to be going to 2 hours, 45 minutes here. We're already at 2:15. Should have done a seizure warning. Yeah. This movie was the reason why seizure warnings were updated into theatrical releases and whatnot for photosensitive viewers. But yes, the Battle of Hogwarts, man, was dark. I liked it. I wish that there was more to it. But when Pier Tom Locomotor was cast and you see these stone statues coming to life and shit, where they drop down to their knees and look up, for some reason, that was a goosebumps moment for me. I really liked that scene. Not to mention Stephen Fry as Dumbledore's brother, Aberforth. Amazing freaking makeup. When you are looking at Stephen Fry or not Stephen Fry, but Kieran Hines as Aberforth Dumbledore, and you are looking at him with and without makeup, it's you're like looking at two different people. The only reason why I knew that it was Kieran Hines was because I've heard his voice in other movies before, and it's like, that's Kieran Hines, isn't it? He doesn't look shit like the movie. I always wanted to use it. Yeah, right? And also, it's like, thank God McGonagall said Voldemort before they started throwing up defenses. Because, yeah, they would have killed all of their defenses around Hogwarts if she would have said that after they put up the barrier. Because, again, the Voldemort jinx not only makes people able to find you, but it removes your protective boundaries. And it's like, oh shit, yeah, man. And his name is Voldemort. He's gonna kill you either way. Start using it. Molly Weasley also, folks. Molly Weasley had her moment, and I loved it. Molly, now I'm not a fan of how she turned Bellatrix into stone and shatters her. I would have liked it better if she had just died because of a killing curse. But yeah. Also, you see, or the death of the Horcrux or Harry Horcrux, as well as Snape's secrets and whatnot. I like how they covered all those sequences. Molly Weasley going at Bellatrix, but yeah, man, it's like no, or that moment in the books, not my daughter, you bitch. And having that role or having that brought straight from page to book was awesome. Where it's like she's going after her, man. Where Bellatrix was holding off 3 other freaking duelists against her, Molly steps up and just freaking obliterates her. And that's what caused Voldemort to nearly kill Molly. But in the books, the whole sequence was very different, folks. Harry was in the Great Hall fighting Voldemort or fighting people until Voldemort went after Molly, and that's when there was a final blast. In the movie, Voldemort is killed by Harry, essentially, because Voldemort is so weak. Where, in point of fact, Voldemort kills himself in the books through his own ignorance. Voldemort casts a killing curse with a wand that that belongs to Harry, or that is loyal to Harry. And that spell rebounds because it will not attack its owner. The Elder Wand at that point belonged to Harry because Harry disarmed Malfoy at Malfoy Manor when Malfoy was already master of the Elder Wand. There was a lot of it was basically a Sherlock Holmes kind of explanation shit for when he was talking with Voldemort. And I love Voldemort's like, "You dare?" And he's like, "Yes, I dare. Shut up, bitch. I'm not done talking." You know? But I do like how they also made freaking Voldemort dust off like a freaking vampire, and it's like, I'm sorry, why? And I also like the fact that in the movie that Ronald Weasley tries to use a killing curse on Nagini. He actually launches the Avada Kedavra at Nagini, verbal or non-verbally, and it's like, oh shit. It shows that not even death or killing curses can kill Horcruxes. You'd think it would, though, you know? The book was better than the film, honestly. Yes, the book is better than the film. Yes, I wanted the fights from the book, not whatever weird scene was at the then third act. Not to mention the one thing that pissed me off that I wish they had done a freaking what do they call the funny bits in movies? Gag reels. You see Harry Potter snap the Elder Wand in the film. And I'm thinking to myself, the fuck? What the I almost walked out at that point in the movie, folks. I was getting ready to walk out of that movie But if they would have put a gag reel where he snaps the wand and throws it off, and you see fucking Ron just jump off the cliff, it's like, mine! It would have just been so fucking hilarious. But I can see why they didn't. But it'd be like, it's mine now. It's like, he snapped it in two, you dumbass. Oh, but yeah. Yeah, snapping the wand, the elder one's like, why would you fucking do that? Also, the way that it was so silent in that scene, it's like, have any of you ever seen the movie Maverick with Mel Gibson, where after he escapes near death from the snakes and shit, and he just starts singing Amazing Grace? I almost felt that was going to be like an Amazing Grace moment where him or Ron, Hermione, and fucking Harry were just going to start singing Amazing Grace for some weird reason. But because it was just so weird that it was the worst fucking ending I had ever seen. And then you got the 19 years later. Where the hell is Remus and Tonks' kid? Because Harry's the godfather of the son. I can't remember the damn kid's name. I'm blanking up. I had the name right in my head. It just freaking lost it like a goddamn memory into a pensieve. Remus's kid. Damn it. What's his name? Somebody put it in the chat, please. But yeah, Teddy, thank you. Theodore. It's like, where was he in the scene, you know? But also, it's 19 years later. He wouldn't be going to Hogwarts. But no, wait, actually. Nope, yep. But yeah. Also, folks, 19 years later, after 1997, would be 2016 in the movies, because Harry Potter takes place in the 90s, not in the 2000s, because what people don't realize is they actually put the date of death for Harry Potter's parents as 1981, when he was a year old. And so Harry was born in 1980. So 1997, would have been his 17th year. And so yeah, 2016, 2017, when they were all going, or in the epilogue. And it's like, huh, isn't that interesting? But yeah, I remember when they said that the ending sequence, they made them look extremely old, to where they actually had to dial or redo the entire epilogue because they looked extremely old. So they actually had to dial back their aging. He was seeing he was snogging Victor Weasley on the train to Hogwarts. Yeah, he was seeing her off. I think that was her last year. Yeah. And Albus Severus Potter. Is anybody not going to point out the fact that his initials are ASP, which is probably the reason why he got put in Slytherin house, I do believe, and the cursed child, Albus, is not in Gryffindor, but he's actually in Slytherin. Yeah, ASP, which is a snake. And it's like, really? Decent books, just messy either way. Yeah. But for the most part, yes, the books or the movies were decent. Overall, I would judge the Harry from an objective standpoint, folks. An objective standpoint, I'm not going to rate all the movies individually. I am going to rate them all together as a cohesive series. Objectively speaking, we do not talk about the thing they call a play. Yeah, I know. But yeah, objectively speaking, the Harry Potter movies are a 6 out of 10 because of massive inconsistencies. Inconsistencies that harm the films to the point of ridiculousness. Some miscasts here and there, inconsistent it's a massively inconsistent movie series because they couldn't keep certain people because, well, years were passing before they would. It's like, here's where I would have filmed certain sequences from number 2 movie, and I would have filmed key scenes for the 6th movie, you know, but whatever. Subjectively speaking, I put the entire series at an 8 out of 10. It's enjoyable. It's fun to watch. Good moments. Don't get me wrong. Love moments, or love the good moments. But holy shit, man. The inconsistencies are still bad, yes, but I like the movies as they are in the movie, or I like the books better. Moviegoer, it's a 9 out of 10. There are some parts you can get bored watching. I mean, and there are other parts that are not as boring. But for the most part, objectively, the series is a failure because of the inconsistencies of year 1 and year 2 Hogwarts grounds being very different before and after the movies because they decided to do the Fantastic Beast films. Now, I wish they would. As bad as Secrets of Dumbledore is, I want them to do a 4th fucking movie in which 1945 Dumbledore battles Grindelwald. You can't leave Fantastic Beasts done dirty like that. You just can't. So, as far as I'm concerned, Fantastic Beasts is incomplete. So it's like, bring them back, do the last movie instead of making it a 5-movie thing. Do the 4 movies, have it do the 1945 sequence because you gotta have that last bit. Now we are moving on to one more topic of discussion. My headcanon. Folks, I had a journal. Unfortunately, it was destroyed, in which I actually wrote a treatment of certain unresolved things. That one of the things I am proud of, unfortunately, I will not get credit for it. Dolores Umbridge goes to Azkaban for the rest of her life. In the continuations in Pottermore and whatnot, it is said that Dolores Umbridge was sent to Azkaban for her actions at the school and her attempt to use an unforgivable curse on Harry Potter. So, yeah, she is sent to Azkaban for the rest of her life. I actually did or wrote a treatment in which her trial happened, in which Harry Potter testified under Veritaserum that she was going to use an unforgivable curse against him. And it turns out the result, or the same result, happens. She ends up going to somebody actually came up with it, or J.K. Rowling did, and turns out, well, yeah, she went to Azkaban prison for the rest of her life. As for Hermione Granger, I felt that she should have been, or that she should have had some sort of psychotic break. Because believe it or not, folks, geniuses like Hermione Granger, because she is classified a genius, they do not have a lot of mental fortitude. If they are pushed beyond certain aspects, certain things and whatnot, like pain and whatnot, they will break easier than other people. And so I also wrote another treatment in which Hermione Granger had a psychotic break. Also, she kept this wand. A wand that was very dark and very has a lot of has a lot of bodies to it. And so she would lose time during the years after, until, or in between the epilogue and the end of Hogwarts, where she actually would eventually be she would eventually be uh redeemed. She would eventually be healed and whatnot. However, she went on a hunt for Death Eaters. I did my own headcanon where Hermione Granger, in a psychotic state, where she would where she had multiple personalities due to the torture, where one of the character or where her other character was called Isis. However, I couldn't exactly publish it because, well, at the time, Isis was, well, not seen as a Greek goddess, but rather a terrorist organization. But yes, she actually would lose time where she was hunting down um, Death Eaters that were not punished due to their saying, "Oh, it was the Imperious Curse. It was the Imperious Curse." Nope, she actually went after them with this wand, with Bellatrix Lestrange's wand, and she started torturing them, and um, she actually tortured them and then killed them. Now, it was also in that same treatment that this wand had a or it was essentially a Horcrux in itself. Not so much a Horcrux as in a Horcrux, or yeah, Egyptian, sorry. Egyptian, not Greek, but not a or it was heavily imprinted with the bloodlust of Bellatrix Lestrange. So the longer she held on to this wand, the more of a bloodlust she had for hating the Death Eaters, especially Bellatrix Lestrange, who freaking tortured her so much. She wished she could actually kill, or it would be in my headcanon that she had a very strong regret that she couldn't have killed Bellatrix herself. You know? So yes, because honestly, there needs to be a little bit more character flaw in certain characters. I didn't see much of a character flaw in Hermione Granger. Aside from small little bits here and there. No, people need to have humongous character flaws. Harry had a lot of hubris. Harry had a lot of ego. And he had to get checked, or he had to have that ego checked numerous times. Ron Weasley had his flaws that came out heavily. He regrets, or he doesn't like the fact that he is poor. He doesn't like the fact that his family doesn't do anything to give themselves more station. As in a Horcrux, more of a Horcrux as in a Horcrux. Yeah. Sakori, yeah. Hello, Sakori Leakbit. Her whole character was a character flaw. Essentially, yeah. Hermione Granger should have had some sort of flaw in her that was available for being seen, you know? I mean, yes, the girl has or is incredibly smart and shit, and she thinks she's better than other people, yes, but it's not explored to a temper or an inferiority complex for Ron. Yes. Yes. What is Hermione Granger's except for the fact that she has a little bit of hubris and the fact that she feels or she has a lot of ego in the first movie? That she also needed that check too. But there's very little other than that outside of her ego. But I wish that she would have had a little bit of damage from at least a little bit of damage. Maybe not to the extent that I actually did my treatment for, but I really, or I do wish that there was a little bit more damage to Hermione Granger from her torture at the hands of Bellatrix Lestrange. Now, or that is, folks, the stream. It's get 2.5 hours. This is my longest theme stream so far, because, well, 8 movies and whatnot. But, or also, I had a very interactive chat, and for that I do thank you all. Um, but yeah, those are a couple of things to my head canon where she between the end of the book or the end of the events of the Battle of Hogwarts, as well as the prologue, because it's a 19-year jump. Hermione was too logical, judgmental, and tendency to panic in dire situations. She always needed a plan. I mean, that, sure. I mean, yes, she always wanted to plan. That could also, or it's hubris, essentially. It's, we should plan shit out. It's like, and I love how she's called out. It's like, dude, every time we go in, we have a plan, all hell breaks loose. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure she's not happy, or Emma Watson wasn't happy about certain camera angles in episode 2 of Deathly Hallows when she does the Arresto Momentum inside Gringotts. Very big there were her outfit did her no favors. I'm pretty sure she wasn't happy about that. Hermione was too logical, judgment, yeah. But yes, those are a couple of things. I do take happiness knowing that Umbridge did finally get her comeuppance to the point of Azkaban life sentence. I just find it hilarious that my treatment was actually, it wasn't just me that thought along those lines, you know? So I'm happy about that. But anyway, folks, I am going to be getting off. Tonight is Barroom Podcast on Society Reviews channel. So definitely pay attention to that one. And yeah, next week is the Predator franchise, the Predator movies, including AVP and AVPR, because I am going to be discussing the lore as well as the AVP game from 2010 on the Xbox 360, the Dark Predator. So yes, I will be discussing those. Don't forget that we never know what the Centaurs did to Umbridge. Yeah, the fact that she heard any sort of clopping sound made her jump upright. So I'm guessing it wasn't pretty what they did to her. And the fact that she saw centaurs at the or that the centaurs did a arrow funeral, or an arrow honoring at Dumbledore's funeral, was also fun. But anyway, folks, thank you so much to Toodle Say, Sakori, Leakbat, Geek Detective Pierce, Neozoic, Vanya, and others. Darth Zathra. I mean, this was a very interactive, folks. Also, thank you to all those folks on X who are watching, because this was also streamed on X. It's freaking awesome, folks. Maybe she got a taste of her own medicine. Maybe. Who knows? But yes, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned next week. Also this Friday, I will be doing a special Orange Hat Uncensored, because Janet from Another Planet can't do it this Friday, so I will be doing it for my channel. And I will be discussing how it's not just politics that are dangerous to the society today, it's also Hollywood's influence. So if you want to join, let me know. It will be late night, Friday night, 10 p.m. or I'll probably go for an hour or two, depending, or most likely only up to 2 hours. Sorry, I thought I heard something. But yes, Sunday is also my weekly recap, where me and Nerd with a Cigar will be talking some topics. And thank you to everybody who has been tuning in. My goal is to reach 2025 subs by the year 2025, the beginning of So if you can help share my channel out, I would be very grateful. I've already hit the 4,000 hours, so I'm set there. But if you guys could help me get to 2,025 subs before the end of this year, that would be great. 2025 by 2025. Anyway, folks, thank you so much to everybody. You guys are freaking awesome, folks. Take it easy, and always remember to stay humble. Later.